legal definition of subdivision is any division of land into two or more lots for the purpose of development or sale. So some people hear subdivision and they think it's a big subdivision coming into their neighborhood, and it could just be one lot divided into two to build two houses on. So as you'll note for our agenda, a majority of our cases involve the division of property into four lots of less. And today you'll be given the decision of the commission regarding subdivision request, and the plat representative will receive the decision in writing within 10 business days. Note that any subdivision approved today isn't complete. In order to complete the subdivision of your property, a final plat has to be recorded in the office of the judge of probate. The county staff will be coordinating with the surveyors of today's approved preliminary plats and prepare the approved plats for recording. The commission is also charged with evaluating requests for rezoning of property and advising the county commission for their final determination. All decisions made by the commission here today regarding zoning cases is advisory only. The final determination of the zoning will be made by the Jefferson County Commission in a subsequent public hearing where all property owners within 500 feet will be notified. I'd ask if you have an electronic device with you, if you put it on silent so as not to disturb our meeting today. Thank you. And may I have a roll call, please?
Kim Lowry.
Present.
Jay Miller.
Present.
Christy Forsythe. Present. Joseph Andrews. Here. Kenneth Cush. Here. Trudy Strain. Present. Mike Thomas.
Here.
Edward Brown.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Next, I have a motion regarding the reading of the minutes from the March 13th, 2025 public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we suspend the rules and accept the minutes as proposed.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay, first we will hear subdivision cases today. I will announce each case separately, and then we will call for opposition, and the applicant or their representative may be asked to come forward to the podium and answer any questions. I'm going to announce the first case. It's case number S250007. The applicant is William Carter. The request is Park Road Survey, 2 lots proposed. The address is 1311 Park Road, Hueytown, 35023. So I'm going to open the public hearing and ask if there's any opposition to this case. All right. Any questions from the commissioners? All right. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion on S250007.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number S250007.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250013. The applicant is Josh Howard. The request is a resurvey of Tract 1 of Albert Bobo Estate, 2 lots proposed. The address is 542 Bailey Loop Road, Gardendale, 35071. I'm going to open the public hearing for this case. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number S250013 with an exception to the subdivision regulations to allow Tract 1A and Tract 1B to be recorded with no road frontage.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So on your agenda, we have a case S250014. It will be heard concurrent to a rezoning case we'll be doing later, which is Z250008. So the next case we're going to hear is S250015. The applicant is Mary Palmer. The request, the Tyler Williams subdivision with 2 lots proposed. So there's a lot of addresses on this one, so I'm going to just kind of consolidate it. In the 7900 block of Lakeshore Drive and the 5800 block of Cowley Lane in McCalla 35111. So I'm opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve with an exception of case number 250015, approval with an exception to allow lot 2 to be recorded with no road frontage.
All right, I've got a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250016. Applicant is Chris Fleming. The request is a resurvey of lots 22, 23, and 24, block 21 of Shadesville. One lot proposed. The address is 1900 and 1904 Mayflower Drive, Hoover 35226. I'm opening a public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve S250016.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Our next subdivision case is S250017. The applicant is Richard Weems. The request is Weems resurvey of lots 26 and 27, McCalla Highlands, with one lot proposed. The address is 4279 and 5861 Rockdale Road, Bessemer 35002. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve S250017.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next subdivision case is S250018. The applicant is Jeffrey Powell. The request is Powell resurvey of lots 14 and 15, Magnolia Ridge subdivision, one lot proposed. The address is 6471 and 6475 William Drive, Hueytown 35023. Opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve S250018.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Our next subdivision case is S250019. The applicant is Larry Davis. The request is Charles Burkett subdivision, 3 lots proposed. The address is 2350 and 2351 Morton Road, Warrior 35180. Opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this case? All right, hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number S25-0019.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S250020. Applicant Stacy Grinder. Request Grinder subdivision, one lot proposed. Address 3908 Lindsay Loop Road, Bessemer 35022. Opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number S250020.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. So our next subdivision case is S250021. The applicant is Kevin Davidson. Request Woods subdivision, 2 lots proposed. Address 1270 Buddy Vines Camp Road, Hueytown 35023. Opening the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? Okay, hearing none, I close the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. So our next subdivision case is S250023. Applicant Rodney Cunningham. Request is a resurvey of lots 5A, 18, and 19 at the cabins at Creek Camp Phase 2, 4 lots proposed. The address, and I'm going to simplify it because there's 4 different ones, in the 4500 block of Cabin Road, Bessemer 35022. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none. Close the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number S250023.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, so that was kind of a rapid thing, so I'm going to take a sip and... Okay, so next we're going to hear zoning cases. Y'all are really quiet on the subdivision cases. I'm proud for that. The staff will present the case to the commission, and then we'll call for opposition. The applicant and their representative and/or the representative may be asked to come forward to the podium to answer any questions. Typically, we have each side allowed only 15 minutes, and just remember that Planning and Zoning Commission only makes recommendations on cases. The Jefferson County Commission makes the final ones. And as you come up to the podium today on either opposition or as the applicant, I ask you start off with your name and your address for the record, please. So, Mr. Brown, I will let you proceed with our first case, Z240061.
Yes, sir. As you mentioned, the first case is Z2461. The applicant is Steve Hartwick, and the property owner is Jefferson County Board of Education. He has a contract to purchase this property contingent upon the rezoning. The rezoning request is from Institutional 1 to R2 to allow, and I apologize for the error on this slide, to allow a residential subdivision within the R2 zone district. The address is 1520 Cherry Avenue in the Forestdale area. The existing land use map, it essentially what it tells you is the property is within the Village Creek watershed. There are no wetlands on site, and the property is also not within a FEMA designated floodplain area. The site is the former location of the Hillview Elementary School. That school is no longer there. The building's been demolished and the site has been cleared. The county's long-range future land use map, which is the map to the left, it says that this property is designated, single-family residential. And the zoning map on the right, it shows you that the property is, again, zone institutional 1, and surrounding this site is property that's zone R2 to the north and to the south. To the west is property zone A1, and to the east property zone R1, single-family district. This is the applicant's site plan, and again, he's proposing 15 single-family residential dwellings on lots between 13,000 and 14,000 square feet. The width will vary depending upon its location, obviously, from 44 feet to 75 feet. And the density of this proposed development is 2.27 dwelling units per acre. The minimum floor area per structure would be no less than 1,400 square feet. And the price points for these dwellings, for these homes, are between $250,000 and $300,000. Access is proposed from Egret Drive only. So these driveways, all of these driveways for each of these 15 lots will face Egret Drive. On the previous site plan that was shown last month, I believe there was access from Cherry Avenue and with a service road between these homes. But that has all gone away with an agreement between the applicant and the county's Roads and Transportation Department. This was the most feasible site plan for county's Roads and Transportation Department. There were 2 letters of opposition. There was 1 letter of support. Staff is recommending approval. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Steve Hardwick, 1545 Lakeside Drive, Birmingham, Alabama, 35235. Okay, I can see it now. I was just going to add that we are putting in a sidewalk along the front of each house. So I couldn't see it from where I was sitting. All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. And I just remind the opposition that my right-hand man, Commissioner Miller, is going to be timing for a 15-minute allowance for discussion and opposition. I'd ask that everybody's welcome to come up and discuss, but if you can consolidate your comments, like if one person mentions something, you don't need to mention it back. We make a list and we go through it like that. So just to try to save time. So,
I just had a question. First time being here, is there, if we have committee members that are actually not in opposition of it, is there time for them to speak?
yes, we can take opposition and support as well. Okay. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Come to the podium. Tell us your name and address, please, and your concern.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, Councilman Zoning Ever. My name is Yolanda Coleman. I live at 953 Egret Drive, and my strong opposition of this development is, as you can see, I'm quite right there. This plan does not demonstrate if, how you change the map here. Right there. That little corner right there, that little right angle there, I live next to there. That 200 estimated square footage is at my gate. And that little curve right there, yes, right there is very good. Okay. Now, my front door, as you can see right here, is along this curve, which is cut off right here. So if he's going to put sidewalks, this thing failed to show there's a huge, deep ditch right there while water flows through there. And this road is no bigger than 2 feet. So how are you going to put some up there and all that? I would like to know, what are you going to put right there in that little corner there next to my gate? I hope it's not dumpsters. Well, being a residential area and all that, I am down for development. I would love to see something beautiful happen there. But the negative, I don't want you to bring anything that would make such a discomfort to me, is why I have an emotional investment here on how it is being developed and what is being introduced into our neighborhood. When it was told to us before, there would be like Section 8 people moving there. We strongly oppose that because we got a lot of hardworking people, entrepreneurs and small business owners as neighbors. And we like to live in peace. And it's always, we're living in peace now, and how we like to keep things are. And of course, especially the sewage plant, you can't use an old sewage line that was meant for a school for residential. And I'm hoping that the proposed residence that's coming is not going to be part of the small, tiny home movement, no more than like having a trailer park near your home. So that's why and I don't, hopefully, especially don't hope it doesn't encroach on my property. And that's my worry and concerns there, what it's going to be introducing, what I have to live by, because you, as a developer, this is just a product to you that can exchange hands. But I have to live here, and I was planning to live here until the end of my days. And old age comes creeping in. So I would like to know what's going to happen there, and it's how they trash us and all that. And you said you can sidewalk there, all that traffic in and out on that little road. That concerns me greatly. And it doesn't want to cause any problems there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And I made a list for you, okay?
Oh, yes, sure. And I would like to know if Mr. Hallward have any questions himself.
So the procedure
happy
is
to get his-
you
okay.
ask me things and I'll get them answered for you.
Okay, I would like feedback if there's any feedback.
Well, I'm going to give him an opportunity to come up and answer your questions, okay?
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so who would like to go next? All right. All right, so I'll let you go next, okay? Okay. Give us your name and address to start, please.
My name is Austin Core. My address is 715 Mojave Drive. Thank y'all for y'all's time today. I came with some words. So I want to start by saying that this isn't about developing the area. It's about the specific housing proposal to this area. Changing this area to from institutional zone 1 to R2 isn't what this community wants. The community is over 10,000 people in Forestdale. With the 3 neighboring communities around us, Graysville, Adamsville, and Birmingport, don't have the same number of population that we do. And so we would like to put some infrastructure there that would support what the community wants. Some form of a civic infrastructure that would allow public use, that would allow an opportunity for everyone to connect, because Forestdale lacks that right now. While the developer does have a plan to put 1,400 square foot homes there, single level, if you look at Forestdale with 10,000 residents, we don't need more houses. We already have 10,000 people. We need infrastructure to help raise what we already have. We would tremendously benefit from allowing it to remain institutional zone 1 and allowing it to go, allowing the community to redevelop it, putting it into a community center or something that would allow us to protect ourselves and protect our own current home value. We don't have a storm shelter. We don't have a gymnasium. We don't have a lot of different things that a lot of surrounding communities inside and around the Birmingham area have, and we don't. This plot of land gives us the chance to put that there. So I hope that you all please consider that when you all look at rezoning this area. Think about the residents that are here and that are invested into this. That's all I have. Thank y'all.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, please. You know the drill first, right? Name and address. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Jerome McKinstry. My address is 719 Ottawa Drive. And I live in the adjoining community. And my concern, I have a question because I don't know. These homes are nowhere near the standards or the size of the homes that are already there. How would these small homes affect our property? I mean, the lots are much smaller and the homes are much smaller. Would that have an effect on the existing homes, price-wise?
So I'm not a real estate agent. I couldn't really give you a
well, that's
discussion
the
on
concern.
But,
I've been in this neighborhood almost 50 years, and times are tough, and I don't think we need anything that would diminish our property value. That's my main concern.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to the applicant and see what he can offer about his price point and how he thinks it might affect the area. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Luciana Guin, Lucianaguin, because everybody always misspells it. And I live at 1489 Tomahawk Road. I am a realtor and a real estate professional. And while I love development, I love new construction, I love new residential properties, my concern and my resistance towards this is it absolutely does not fit in with the community. What we want to see in Forestdale, if we have development, is if you look at our houses, they are mostly two-story with basements, larger lots, no less. There are smaller cottage-style houses in Forestdale, but the majority of Forestdale is no less than 1,800 square foot, and those houses, the older houses, go for low to mid twos. If it's renovated, you're going to get high twos, up to $350 in the area. What I fear is going to happen with these small, really small, these are 1,300, 1,400 square feet. I think maybe one was 1,500 at this price point. That's almost $200 a square foot. the family that this would attract, they're not going to be able to afford it, which is going to mean these houses are going to sit there for a longer amount of time. Our average days on market is already 60 to 90 days. So then you build these houses there, and they sit for 90 to 180 days. People are going to say, what's wrong with them? Then they're going to sit for even longer. There have been other houses that have been built in other areas close by that have sat, and we're not even in the city of Birmingham, but what the city of Birmingham has had to do is subsidize those houses. So we're not opposed to that. As a realtor, I would never say we don't want anybody in here, but what we don't want is houses this small built in this area. You got to go bigger. You got to, and unfortunately, I don't know that you can go bigger. But you, in order to fit in with the neighborhood and keep the consistency of the homes that are there, you got to go bigger. These cottage-style homes are not going to work there, and I feel like they're going to sit for an extremely long time. And so then what's going to happen is, if a developer or builder, I don't know what their financial plan is, but if you can't sell it, then it is going to end up being, okay, well, we'll do a short-term rental, or we'll allow rentals to come, which is not going to be the original plan. But once it's approved and the developer can do what they want to, then it's out of our hands. So now we have a community of small homes that are being rented, that are going to have a high turnover. They're going to have, that's not what we want. That's not consistent and congruent with what we want. We did submit, and it may have been late, but I think we did submit plans to build a community center,
Yes,
which is...
We did get those.
Yeah, so that is more in line of what we need. We have been meeting and talking about what our community needs. We've come up with plans for a community center, which would also include a space for a storm shelter. The closest storm shelters to us are in Holiday Hills, which is a good bit away. There's another one on the other side of Pratt Highway, which they're far. We have older people in our neighborhood that we would be concerned about. So if we could have a community center, which would allow our older neighbors, if they wanted to walk on an inside facility or have classes on how to have successful elder living, nutrition, how we can help them, like to build the community, a library, things like that. That's what we need in Forest Hill, not small 1,200, 1,300 cottage-style houses that would actually sit for a long time. And I'm not kidding when I say they would sit. They would sit because that price point and that size of the house is too small for the price that you're asking. You're asking, I think it was $250 to $350 for that price. That's a lot. That is a lot for what you could get if you compare apples to apples. Or there used to be a show on HGTV, Bang for Your Buck. That's not a bang for your buck in that area. That's all I have. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. How much have we got? That much? Okay. All right. So we got about 4 minutes remaining for discussion. Let me take opposition, and then I'll let you speak in favor of. You would like to go first? Come on. Okay. Well, you're up. Come on up, and then if you want to speak after her, you can, okay?
Hello, everyone. My name is Phyllis Brown, and my address is 943 Eggert Drive. And I'm opposed to this because my house sits right in, I can't, where
Mr.
he's
Brown,
talking about.
do you have the laser pointer for her?
Mine is right around, right here. Oh, yeah. It's the top one. Okay. I don't know. But my house sits on around the curve, I would say probably right in here. So I would be facing, when I come out and in my driveway, and he's talking about a sidewalk, that is not going to work. This street is already small, and I have a Ford F-150. Even backing out, that road is too small for the bigger cars that we now have. I have a grandson, and he likes to be outside, and I don't want to deprive him from outside because we need to get our kids outside, and that is not going to work. And I also had another question. If it was developed for single-family homes, why is it saying R2 instead of R1? R1, excuse me, R1 is for single-family. R2 gives him the opportunity, if this property is approved and he owns it, he could bring Section 8 in. He could bring whatever he wants to do with this property. I don't want to face that.
Okay, we'll answer your question about that, okay? Okay. Ma'am, did you want to come up and speak?
Very briefly. My name is Donna Reynolds, and I live at 843 Brandy Circle. And studies have shown that people have a better quality of life when there are green spaces and there are places where they can remain socially active as well as physically active. So as someone who worked for 36 years in downtown Birmingham, and I'm a taxpayer just like all of my neighbors are, then I feel like we've really already paid for this land. And when we paid our taxes, the land we paid for it in order to have a place to provide an education for our children. And now that that's no longer needed, we're asking you to give that land back to us so that we will have somewhere where we can fellowship and stay socially active with our neighbors inside. Because presently, we don't have any inside facility where we can go. And that's what we'd like to have. It'll help us live longer and live better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. So we've already gone into 50 minutes, so you wanted to speak in support. I'll let you go. If you can make it quick, that'd be great.
Yeah, my name is Gary Matthew Timms II. I live at 1029 Felix Drive, which is basically the bottom corner of that map. The reason why I'm speaking for it is because Fort still needs tax dollars. If we could build houses in the area and start bringing in income, then maybe instead of this being a dump site like many of the areas are, that could change. Now, my home, I don't live in Tomahawk, but my home is 1,288 square foot. I live at 1029. My neighbor's house is 1,000 square foot. Of course, I do have a neighbor that is 1,500 square foot, and it varies in the sizes of the houses on that street as well as on Egret Drive. Now, the price point, I haven't studied all that with the cost of everything nowadays. I'm sure any new home is high. But the reason I'm for it is my idea is just going to sit there. If we want a community center, that's great. But if we don't have the money for the community center, it will sit there. Just as long as it took time to build a stadium, 20 freaking years to get that approved, this is going to sit here, and most of us probably won't even be living in the area. We'll be in an old folks' home or passed on to by and by the time something gets built. So that was my reason speaking for it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. So I was going to ask for the opposition. I know we have a big crowd. Is there anybody that has anything different than what we've heard so far? Okay. So just let's kind of keep it brief and just something new that we haven't heard.
My name is Adrena Hammond. I'm here on behalf of my mother, who's elderly, but the address of 921 Egret. That address is not 15,000 or 1,500 square feet at all. It's a small 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. And there are several on Egret that are smaller homes. But a lot of these addresses that people are saying are not looking at, when I go to their house every day during the month, they're not looking at the garbage. They're not looking at the grass taller than this building. It's just growed up. People putting the 18-wheelers back there, parking them, and abandoned cars. Nobody wants that in their front door. And I just applaud the young man, Mr. Hartwick, on coming up with something to do there because it's been sitting over 3 years, I think, since the school was torn down, and nobody has said anything. So I just suggest that we try to make and agree with the young man and try to do something positive here with what he's trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so same thing. Anybody has anything different they'd like to add, you can come up. All right, hearing none. Mr. Hardwick, would you come up and help us address through these questions and comments we have? And just for the record, give us your name and address one more time.
Steve Hardwick, 1545 Lakeside Drive, Birmingham, Alabama, 35235.
And I have a list of things, so if you didn't follow everything, I'll let you take a shot at it first, okay?
Okay. As far as Section 8, we never said they were going to be Section 8. When we first originally went to the neighborhood, we were going to do senior assisted living. I mean, not assisted, senior living, 1 level, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. That was our first plan. Some of the neighbors were for it, some wasn't. And then when we brought it to you all, because of density, we had to change it. So we're where we're at now with the 15 houses. As far as the young lady that lives in the corner here that's saying that we're going to protrude, I guess, on her property, we will have it surveyed. We will not go over onto her property because there are side setbacks for each lot that's going to be maintained.
So speaking of Ms. Coleman's comment, so she was asking about the sidewalks.
Did I just picked it up.
Well, anyway,
Okay.
we'll let them figure out. So the sidewalks, so they're going to be adjacent to her property on the road, or are they going to be the other side of the road?
No, they're going to be along the side of the houses.
Okay.
So they're going to start, they're going to,
Okay, well, we can wait. If you want to go on some other things until we get the picture up.
okay. As far as, you know, the community had 3 years, the surrounding houses. The lot sat empty for 3 years. So if anybody was going to develop it, redevelop it, or maintain it as whatever it is, they had 3 years before we, you know, went to the realtor to purchase this property. So it's not like we just got it from up under them, snatched it from them. And as far as the sizes of the houses, thank you. The sizes of the houses that's on egret are 800 to 1,200 square feet. They're not the 18, the 25, the 3,000 that's on up Tomahawk and the surrounding areas. So we were trying to focus more on comping what's on egret as to not overbuild to make their taxes go up, because everything on egret is small. Nothing is brand new. Nothing, no house in Forestdale in that 500-yard area has been new. There has not been a new house there in years. And so we weren't trying to overbuild. Now, what we are going to do, we're going to build in phases. So they're not going to sit. And the one young lady said the houses are sitting 60 to 90 days. Those are renovations. Who knows what you get with a renovation? Yeah, I mean, it could be lipstick on a pig. But at least with a new home, that first-time home buyer, or there's somebody that's looking to downsize, they'll know that they're going to get a good product. We are licensed, we pull permits, and we follow the rules. So we're not trying to build something here that's going to sit, because it does us no good. You know, we're a small company, my partner and I. We don't have millions in the bank to sit and hold. So, and as far as Egret Road, they're saying about the size of the road. The county built that road years ago and approved it. We're not responsible for that road. That's that's a county issue. And so everybody that has an issue with the road size, I mean, it would be nice if you all would get with the county and not just try to oppose us because the road size. So back to the sidewalk deal. So the sidewalk is going to be coming here, and it's going to come around all the way to the end, to the last property, and it's going to be, so that would be the right-hand side of the road. There are currently no sidewalks on Egret altogether. So we feel like if we put a sidewalk there, that would be just an added point and a nice thing. If anybody does want to walk, they can walk on the new sidewalk now as opposed to just walking on the road.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, Russell, you have anything? Okay. All right. That's all we have.
Okay, let me go through my list and see if I
Okay.
got everything I need. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm just kind of messy, but I got it here. Just hang on. So, you want me to ask him anything while he's up here?
Mr. Harwood.
Yes, sir.
I believe you have your intentions, is to be a good community servant for the people.
Yes, sir.
Something that worries me is the Section 8 that was brought up. You said it wasn't your intent. I mean, intent is kind of different. That leaves the door open. Are you looking to build Section 8, or you built?
No, we never mentioned Section 8. We said 55 and up community in the beginning. We're not looking for Section 8. So that's out of the question.
I want you to understand the concerns of the community.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not
Yes.
speaking from ignorance. I grew up in that area.
Yes, sir.
In fact, Buell Moore lives right down the street. You know Buell Moore?
No, sir.
Okay. He lives in that brick house with chain link fence around it.
Okay.
It's a good area.
Yes, sir.
And I think your intentions are to be good,
Yes,
to
sir.
support the
Thank you.
community.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're going to do the right thing.
Oh, yes,
And
sir.
like I said, that area's been sitting there for several years. And I'd like to make a comment. The traffic coming, if it's approved, the traffic coming from the houses there is going to be far less than what it was when it was schools there. There's no
Yes,
doubt
sir.
about it. I think someone mentioned the sewer system. And again, it will be far less than 200 kids in Hillview School going to the bathroom as opposed to, 25 to 30 residents. I want your intentions to be focused on the community.
Yes, sir.
And I think you can be a good steward. I think things could work out for everybody.
Yes, sir.
If you understand that. I understand
Yes,
the
sir.
community. I've been in that position too. I want things done right in my community.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to progress and not to bring it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And we are local, so we currently have projects going on. We have rental properties, and so if anybody wants to check us out, we are building currently. We have built. You can go each one of our properties. We pull our permits, whether it's the county or the city. We've done previous work with the county, so we're not slumlords. We're not people that just come in and just do anything. We are true to our word. That's how we have been successful the amount of years that we've been in business.
Something else I'll ask you about. I know it's kind of optional. They're going to be homeowners.
Yes, sir.
Garbage, I think a dumpster was mentioned one time. Do you have any intention of putting a dumpster up there, or are you going to let the individuals do their own contract with us?
The individuals will have to do the contracts with the county. We won't be responsible for that. Because once we sell it, it's out of our hands. So, yes, sir. And I think you all are with Amwaste, if I'm not
That's right.
mistaken. Yes, sir. So they will have to do that.
Okay. All right.
I believe there was one other question of your intent for that small piece of property on the opposite side of the road.
Oh,
And in the curve, if you could address what your plans are for that particular piece of property.
oh, in the corner. We were gonna go ahead and put a property there also. Yes, sir. A single-family home.
Okay, it wasn't on the,
It wasn't on the map because we're not 100% sure if that does belong to the Board of Education. Yeah, it's right in this corner. Oh, let me go back a slide. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, right here. So yeah, okay. So this and this right here, we were waiting to get surveyed to make sure that that is part of the county. Because on different platforms that we went on, it didn't say if it was owned by Jefferson County Board of Education.
So, Mr. Brown, when you were doing your analysis, did you discover anything about that divided parcel?
So the two parcels are linked, and they both appear on the future land use and zoning map because that would mean they fall in the same parcel ID and the same property owner. So my assumption, without having the information in front of me, is that both properties are owned by this board of education.
Okay.
And so we will put a home there if we need to get with Mr. Brown and submit a drawing with a home there. Now, I definitely know this lot here, it's not big enough to put a house there.
So do you have any plans do you have any plans for that parcel? Maybe
Right now, it's just an empty lot, so that's pretty much all we can do with it is, we'll maintain. Yes, sir. We will maintain that there, right this side here, but we will definitely put a home right here. But we will maintain that because there is, like I said, we can't put nothing there because of the lot size.
Okay. All right. The commissioners have any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Mr. Herwick, I think that's all we have to ask of you.
Thank you.
So we don't normally open up for opposition again. If it's really brief, come on up. If it's, you got to come up. You got to come up to the podium and ask me. Okay.
I don't know anything about real estate, but I just like to ask him.
Well,
I live in
you ask me and I'll get your answer. Okay.
Okay, adjoining property, the homes are twice as large and the lots are twice as large. I just want to know, what is it going to do to my property? How is it going to affect my pocketbook with these small homes built right next to my community?
Okay. Well, I mean, my speculative statement would be, we don't really know. I mean, we had the real estate agent in the area come up and said that it would probably not affect it positively, but the builder thinks it's going to, and if it's a smaller square footage going for a higher price, then that higher price per square footage, I think, will relate to years being worth more. So, but again, I'm not an expert and I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm not. Anyway, that's why I'm still working. So, I see a couple of hands. So, come on, and I'm gonna do about two more, and that's it. Okay. Well, that's y'all. Y'all are the two more.
I'm Yolanda Coleman at 953 Eagle Drive, that very corner that we were just discussing. I don't know how he's going to get that in there because it's like a bowl. It's a dip way down in there. There's a bowl. How small of a home he's going to get, because, well, going by my judgments on the square footage he would need away from the road and away from each property line, and that back property line does belong to my neighbor, Mr. McDaniels, who is unfortunately not here at the moment. His property that they're in that area behind that. So I don't know how 1,300 feet going to fit in that. I mean, it's going to be a squeeze, but it's a drop. Just like I don't know how the sidewalk's going to be there, because there's a drop with that big ditches that's going to connect to everybody for drainage.
Okay. Ms. Coleman, again, I'm not an expert on this, but he'll have to apply for a building permit with the county, and they'll have to review the plans. It'll have to sit within the proper setbacks for all, I guess. I was going to say all four sides, but it's only got three sides. So.
Yeah, it's only three sides. It is kind of an odd shape, but that's what the teachers use for a parking lot.
But he'd have to meet all the county requirements to build it on there. So I don't know how. We don't have dimensions of the lot.
That's okay.
So.
Well, from my standpoint, being in landscape construction, it's like 200 square feet. It's a good piece.
Okay.
But quite small for a house. But okay. I just thought you know the
Okay.
dip in there.
Thank you. Okay, ma'am, you're our last question commenter, please.
Someone mentioned about the zoning being R2, and so my question is, what's the difference between R1 and R2, and which one provides the most protection for the neighborhood?
Okay, who'd like to take that one? Michael?
Yeah, I can take that one. The difference between R1 and R2 is simply lot size. R2 allows for a smaller lot size. R1 allows for lots of 15,000 square feet if it's served by septic tank, and 12,500 square feet if it's served by sanitary sewer. R2 allows for lots of 10,000 square feet. So again, what he's proposing, the entire area around it is zoned R2. So that's why we didn't do R1 or anything else, because that's more in sync with what's zoning around it.
Does R2 require being connected to the public sewer?
Given the size of it, yes. There are some lots that are grandfathered that are not, but if there is an R2 lot that's 10,000 square feet, then yes, it would be required to hire consent.
And what about stormwater runoff?
Stormwater runoff, all that's managed at the time of construction, and the rate of runoff cannot exceed, after the development, the rate of the runoff cannot exceed the pre-development rate. So that's all that's done through engineering.
But, I mean, we have all these ditches and creeks, and they overflow, so, I mean, are there restrictions against new development?
Yes, ma'am, again, and like I said, at the time that those developments were constructed, they didn't have that particular standard that we know enforces now, with regards to the rate of runoff and how it goes with the stormwater system. So, yes, ma'am, all that's handled in the engineering and the site design.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners want to have any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just point out as a point of order, I will, I'm not participating in the vote, but there are, in my packet, I'm not sure if the other commissioners received it, there's about another 7 or 8 letters, so I just want to make sure everybody knows where they are.
Okay, I believe when I called this case, did you need to recuse yourself?
Yes, I will refuse from the vote. That's fine.
That represents an issue, is that if he's recusing, we will not have a quorum enough to take it.
Okay. So that makes it interesting. So one of our commission members is recusing himself from voting today, and we will not have quorum to vote today because of that. We have to have 8 members present that are able to vote. And so I'm not sure. I haven't had this happen in a while. Michael, do we just have to carry it over for quorum?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I apologize for everybody here today, but we're going to have to carry this over because of a lack of quorum for this case, so there will be no vote today. And I will work hard to make sure we have quorum at the next meeting with the staff. So there will be no vote today. Do we need a motion and a vote for carrying it over, Michael? Okay. Okay. All right. So I apologize for y'all coming down. I didn't realize we had only 8 today. That doesn't give us any margin. So we'll do better next month for y'all. So, but if y'all have, again, I think I told y'all this last month, if you still have some questions remaining and stuff, I believe Mr. Hardwick will entertain you out in the area next to our room today, if you'd like to talk to him some more. So, but we're going to have to hear this again next month when we have 8 people that can vote on it. I apologize for that.
Will there be discussion the next time or just a vote?
No, we'll do this all over again. So, okay. I mean, I'll have my notes and everything, but. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next case, Z250006. Connie, whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir. This property is located at 2028 Pratt Highway in Forestdale. The applicant, Jeannie Joyner, is requesting to remove split zoning of C1 commercial and R2 single family and rezone the entire parcel to C1 for proposed daycare center. This parcel is currently, if you look to the right where you see current zoning, the parcel is approximately 0.43 acres, and the majority of the parcel is currently zoned C1 commercial. There's just a small portion to the northwest that's zoned R2. If I did say this, the parcel is approximately 0.43 acres. There's a single-family residence on the property and a commercial building. Applicant is proposing using both for the daycare center. The property, I'm sorry, it abuts the C1 zone district to the north and the south, and it is consistent with the future land use plan of general transition mixed use. The rezoning to C1 is consistent, and staff recommends approval. That's all that I have for you.
Okay, thank you. So is there anyone here in opposition of this rezoning case? All right, is the applicant present? Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Well, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Would you please come up to the podium, give us your name and address, please? Is that still a yes, sir?
That's a yes. That's a yes.
I'm Jeannie Joyner, address 2028 Pratt Highway, Birmingham, Alabama 35214.
Okay, go ahead with your question now.
Ms. Joyner, are there any other daycares in the area?
On Highway 78, yes, but in that residential area, no.
Only on Highway 78? And are you familiar with there's a little across the street from there that is, should be perhaps a Miss Finley or Miss Jones?
Am I familiar?
Yes, it's also commercial. It's at the intersection, I believe, of Tony Chapel Road and Pratt Highway.
No.
And the only reason I say that is because back in 2022, they also rezoned for the daycare as well. It's not there. But I would like you to know that, but I'm sure you've done your research and you know that that area could use some daycares.
Absolutely.
I just want to just double check.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Joyner, I do have one comment for you. Just want to make sure you're aware, we have two separate structures on this property. One is a commercial building. Secondly, we have a single-family residence. You are aware that both of those properties, both of those buildings would have to be renovated, brought up to current code for commercial use for a daycare.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, ma'am. So, close the public hearing and ask for a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve Z250006 as proposed.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. And just a reminder, we're making a recommendation for approval to the county commission, and they'll address this at the next planned meeting for hearing zoning cases. So our next zoning case is Z250007. Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a request to amend covenants within the A1 Agricultural Zone District at the location 5730 Rosedale Road in the Bessemer area to allow a manufactured home and horse stable. I'm sorry? Oh, are you the applicant? Okay. Well, she's saying that there's a barn already located on the property. So your existing map, it tells you that the property is not within a designated floodplain. There are no wetlands on site. And to the right, the map to the right is just an aerial. And I suppose that barn is perhaps here. That's where the existing barn is. Is there any other structures on site? Is this the storage shed right here? Okay, so there's a barn and there's a storage shed, Mr. Chairman, on site, which is what she's telling me in my right ear.
Okay. Well, she'll get a chance to come up and she can add
Yes.
to your presentation.
Okay, all right, thank you. And so the county's long-range future land use plan, Mr. Chairman, identifies this property for single-family residential, and the current zoning shows you that, again, the property is presently zoned A1 and surrounded by A1 zoning to the south and to the west. RG zone district, which is the Somerset community, is to the north of this site. Staff recommends approval, and that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there anyone in opposition of this zoning case today? All right. I believe the applicant's present. Would you come up to the podium, give us your name and address? I think we have. So it sounded like you wanted to add some more to his presentation, so.
Not really. My name is Virginia Beck, and the property is 5730 Rockdale Road.
Okay.
And when I bought it, it was 4 sections that were combined into one address. And we currently have horses on the property, and we want to add a home because where I'm renting, I have to leave. And my daughter and son-in-law would be buying the manufactured home with me so that it would be residences for all 3 of us.
So you're going to build a home and then have a mobile home as well?
No,
Oh,
it's
I'm sorry.
manufactured.
Okay. So there's how many
Manufactured is
how many
permanent.
homes? One home and
One
it's
home.
manufactured.
One
Okay.
manufactured home.
Okay. All right. So are there any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, sir. Ms. Beck, we've done some research on this, and prior to this, your request, that covenant was put in there for a reason. Do you know why that was put in there for a reason, for no mobile homes?
I do not, because I was in Florida, my father was dying, so I was unable to attend the zoning meeting. There is a, subdivision behind the property, and there was an uproar about I was able to buy it before he bought it. And as far as the mobile homes, I've heard, and this is all secondhand, that somebody said I was going to put a mobile home park back there, which would make no sense since it was zoned for agricultural.
There's 2 stipulations in the covenant. One is there's no mobile homes, the other is electric fence. Would you be, object to just removing the, if it's approved, we go through it, just the mobile home covenant and leave the electric fence in place because of the residential area behind it? And I'm sure there's
We don't have the electric fence anywhere near.
It's in the covenant on number 1 that you
It
want to
is,
remove. Would you have any
but-
objections to leaving that in place?
No, because our electric fencing is all inward on the property. There's a section of woods between the residential or subdivision and our land. And we're not,
Electric fence in the subdivision just kind of scares everybody. The
well,
liability
no,
of that.
but I mean, there's woods there, so there's no way we're putting an electric fence on their property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. There's the covenant restricts an electric fence, but there is an electric fence already on the parcel, is that correct?
That's correct, but it's nowhere near.
So if we're going, if for balance, it seems it would be prudent then to remove the electric fence restriction as well, unless I'm missing something.
Well, so the exact covenant is electric fencing shall not be constructed within 10 feet of the property line. And she sounds like you're keeping it more to the interior of the property, right?
Right, because we're not using those woods back there. It's full of bamboo and old trees.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Beck. We're going to do a vote now. So the public hearing is closed. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve Z250007 with the exception on the covenant that remains in place that the electric fence shall not be constructed within 10 feet of the property line.
All right. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Motion passes. Thank you. Our next zoning case today is Z25 250008. We're ready when you are, Connie.
Yes, sir. This property is located at 7623 Highway 79 in Pinson. The applicant, John Herod, is requesting to remove split zoning of C1 commercial and R1 single family and rezone the parcel to the A1 zone district for compliance. Currently on the property, there's a house, a barn, and there's an accessory structure. Applicant is proposing a second accessory structure at this property. It's approximately 5.7 acres. It abuts the A1 zone district to the north. If in the A1 zone district and the lot is over an acre, there's no limit to the size and the amount of accessory structures on the property. The future land use is agriculture, and the proposed use of agriculture is compatible. Staff recommends approval. That's all I have. Oh, I do have one other thing. I'm sorry.
Yes.
There is a concurrent subdivision case with this that will be heard. For the simple reason, the legal description reads as part of two parcels, so that will be heard shortly.
Okay, thank you. So is there any opposition to this subdivision case? Okay, is the applicant present? All right, thank you. Do you want to add anything to her presentation? Okay. Any questions from the commissioners for the applicant? All right, well, good news. We're going to close the public hearing on this zoning case, and may I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve Z25-0008 as proposed.
All right, I have a motion. May I have a second? Second. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. So next we're going to hear the subdivision case. And it's S25, we're not going to hear it, I'm going to call it S250014. The applicant is John Herron. The request is for Artman, one lot subdivision, one lot proposed. And the address is 7623 Highway 79, Pinson, 35126. So is there opening public hearing? Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing, and may I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve S25-0014.
Second.
All right, have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. So we are down to our last case for the day, and a lot of people still around, so Andrew will get it, and I'll sign it if you want to hang around after the meeting. We're almost done. So, well, we have one case left. I don't know if we're almost done. So, the zoning case today is Z250009. Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir. So, this is a rezoning request, Mr. Chairman, to amend covenants within the C1 commercial district to allow a shopping plaza and C-store with gas pumps at 397, 403, and 409 West Oxmoor. The covenants attached to this application, and I'll read the final two and then give you the staff's recommendation. And this is from the 1996 covenant restrictions. Number 7, covenant number 7. The covenants, restrictions, and limitations created hereby shall be enforceable by a Homewood Retirement Housing Corporation and the church as in the Homewood Church of Christ, I believe, and shall be binding upon the present and all future owners and occupants of the property. Covenant number 8, these covenants may not be modified except by a written modification executed by the then owner of the property and the Homewood Church of Christ and approved by the Jefferson County Commission after a public hearing about which notices have been given in the manner required for public hearings on rezoning applications. So I received a letter of opposition from the Homewood Church of Christ this morning, which should be in the side folder of your 3-ring binder. And because there's no meeting of the minds between these two entities, I believe this case has to be postponed because the applicant cannot move forward with amending this request without the consent of, according to these covenants, without the consent of the Homewood Church of Christ. So the recommendation is to postpone. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Is the applicant present? Okay. Would you come up for a moment and before I call for it? So I'm going to, since this case was posted, I'm going to call it like that, but we're not going to be able to take a vote on it because of the covenant situation that was discovered. So would you give us your name and address, please?
My name's Russ Ware. I'm with the Capstone Engineering Group, and we're located in Tuscaloosa, P.O. Box 20603, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35402.
Thank you, Mr. Ware. So have you been made aware of the covenants since before today?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you understand Mr. Brown's presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So so what we're faced with is carrying this over till that can be resolved before we can hear the case for rezoning. So that's kind of the state of where we're at. But we have a big crowd here, and I'm guessing they're in opposition to this, or maybe they have other things. So I'm going to see what they want to say. But I just want to make sure you're up to speed, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is there anyone here in opposition or that would like to comment on the case today? And I'll tell you this, so we're not going to take a vote today. We're going to carry it over, okay? And if you want to, you can save it because we're going to have another meeting. So, I mean, you can tell us today and redo it again, or you can hold your comments. You're welcome to have them today. We're here for that, okay? So I'll just let you decide. So, we might forget today and remember next time we're in a meeting, but. Okay. Y'all are welcome to come up. Maybe if you won't have a representative wants to come up and just say a few things. So who's from the church?
Yes, sir. My name is Tripp Galloway, 2200 Woodcrest Place, Suite 315, Birmingham 35209. And I represent the church, and the gentleman has correctly stated the church's position that it feels it is expressly allowed approval or disapproval of any proposed change in the covenant. And at this time, the church does not approve changing any change to change the covenant as proposed. So we don't want to seem wholly unreasonable, but we operate a daycare / day school 7 to 5 during the school year. There are traffic patterns that concern us about how that would interact with the proposed gas station. There's also a gas station. That's not a new introduction to the area. If you go down West Oxmoor, there are other gas stations, and you go Lakeshore, there are gas stations. So it's not like this is from a rezoning land use concept, bringing a use, like bringing a grocery store to an area that's underserved. It's a food desert or something. So, and as the Dias had mentioned earlier, covenants generally are put on property for a reason. And there was a pest control company that was looking to go here in '96, and that is a specific use that is allowed, but it's not the only use. Under the covenants, one may also have an office building, other professional use, or anything in CP preferred, I think it is. So it's not that they're hamstrung, it's that the developer seeks to have a blessing for a use that is not allowed under the covenant.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Galloway. I have a couple questions, if you don't mind. Sure. So I want to make sure I understood. Is the church interested in coming up with a different agreement for the applicant?
It is willing to be a good neighbor and have respectable dialogue. I would say it's not great to use when I'm representing a church, but the Vegas line is that we probably won't be able to reach an agreement, but we recognize it is the appropriate thing to enter into a dialogue. Okay. And likewise, though, we would like the mutual respect. There is, and this is mentioned in the cover letter that was submitted, there is, as another part of the covenant, there is a option to purchase, which is sort of our Alamo, our safety net. And Our covenant pertains to, there are two parcels here. It pertains to it's about 50-50 in terms of square footage, not exactly, but close. The one closest to us is the one burdened by the covenant. And we have a right of first refusal that is a component of the covenant on the first one. And we brought that to the attention of the applicant, or the party for who the applicant is here, the ultimate would-be purchaser, and said, hey, don't forget, in this covenant there is a right of first refusal. And so if we're going to go forward, you need to honor that obligation. And we received in response an offer to purchase both parcels. Well, that's not what the right of first refusal is. Our deal is we have a right of first refusal on the first one. And we've asked to clarify and say, no, give us what if there's an offer to buy the first one, we need to know what that one is, because we have contractual rights whereby we get an opportunity to buy that first one. You can't thwart our right of first refusal by burdening it with extra land to say, you got to buy this extra land too. So that's another issue that's out there.
Okay.
And we don't get to that issue until we get past the restrictions in the covenants.
Okay. I understand. Thank you for
Yes,
walking me through that. So it sounds like that you as the representative for the church and the applicant need to have a dialogue. And then if agreement is reached, then this will come back before the commission for consideration. Did I get that right, Michael? Okay.
We're willing to have that dialogue. We don't want to give the misrepresentation that we're anxious to buy it, but we want to be operating in good faith.
Yeah, and I understand this is pretty fresh. I mean, have you had a day or two to work on it?
Yeah, I've been retained for about 48 hours.
Okay. So I'm pretty close.
Which is good for me. Right? How I usually
All right.
operate.
So does anybody have any questions for Mr. Galloway before I let him sit down? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ware, you can come back up. I believe you had your hand up, and I'll hang on just a second, okay?
I just wanted to mention that there are two lots adjacent here, and
Yes.
we're asking for the covenants to be removed on just one of the lots. The other lot, where the proposed convenience store will go, is already zoned properly where we can proceed. It does?
Okay. It sounds like.
So it's both
Yep.
lots.
Sound like you both need to regroup and figure out what's going on. And the staff has a copy of both covenants, and y'all can get a copy from them if you don't have them, and go figure out what applies, what doesn't, and
Is it the same covenant for both?
okay. So it's not like. So, and the staff can explain them to you. So it sounds like, we'll carry this over, but until y'all are ready to go back to have a zoning hearing, I recommend you call the staff when y'all feel like y'all are ready and you want to, Mr. Ware, towards you. So once if provided things get worked out, then would you contact the staff and tell them you want to reschedule your zoning hearing? Okay, so I know you raised a couple hands. We'll take a few minutes for comments and questions.
I'm Karen Freeman, one of the owners of the property. I live at 7371 Keith Drive in McCalla. When we purchased this property 30 years ago to put our pest control company on it, they did have restrictions. One was that we do put a pest control company there when we purchased, and not have a change of what we were going to put there, which we did. There was a right of refusal to the church, but they owned the property backing up our property at that time, and they sold it. So we gave first right of refusal to the people who own Regency, Rick, and we discussed back and forth with him pricing, possibly us financing it for them, and then he chose not to do that. So we put it on the market with a realtor. So we feel that we did what we were supposed to do. And we, too, just want to get the property sold. we're not in the argue or anything like that, but that's what we were told. And we are unaware of any covenants on the other property, because we bought it maybe a year or two later, and we had it changed to commercial, because that was residential.
Okay.
That's all I have to
All right,
say.
thank you for the information. So there was somebody else? Okay, come on. I thought about doing my Wheel of Fortune. Come on down.
I'll be very brief. My name's Rick Stern, the owner of Regency and at 285 West Oxmoor. And I'll be very brief since we need to do this again, but I'm the owner of the assisted living and retirement center right there. And I've worked with the owners, as we've said. I did not see the purchase opportunity on this when we talked about it sometime in the past, but I've not seen this proposal to be able to match in the right of first refusal. But my biggest concern is both of those buildings contain about 100 senior, it's a senior living building, and we have anywhere from independent living, just apartments, to memory care, to assisted living. And our memory care folks, who can be very disturbed by things going on at night, and they are already confused sometimes between daytime and nighttime. Their windows are looking right down on this property, and I'm very happy for office or something that works well. We've always been protected by those covenants, but I'm concerned what it would do to all of our residents with a gas station or anything like that with lights and activity at night. It's going to be very disruptive to their health and well-being. So I can give more presentation later. I just wanted to let you know that I was here, and we have talked with the Freemans, very nice folks, but we can work more in the future. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stern. Appreciate it. So it sounds like there's a lot to work out before we hear this case. So I appreciate the community coming out to express your concerns. And I know some of this is a little fresh, so I'm sure that Mr. Galloway and Mr. Ware have some things to get started on to figure it out. So, and again, if you need some help on the covenants and how they apply, the staff can help you with that. So, but Michael, do I need to make a motion or take a vote for?
Yes, you need a motion.
All right. So, can I have a motion to carry this over?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we carry over Z25-0009 and be rescheduled at the convenience of the applicant.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Motion passes. Thank you. So we're done for the day. I would ask staff and the commissioners just to hang back for a minute. I wanted to talk about something. That includes you. Are you going to take us off? Yeah, would you take us off live stream?